In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 kind of weird things about your higher self that will probably freak you out a little bit or at least blow your mind. I'm going to share with you those in this video. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, we're going to go deeper on understanding our higher self, understanding this connection that every single one of us has on the planet, and understanding how we can get more in alignment in it and what that means about who we are as a soul altogether. Now, some of the information in this book will come from Bashar. Some of this information in this book, some of this information in this video will come from Bashar. Some will come from something called the Law of One, or the raw materials. And maybe there's some other source some of this information is going to come from. Maybe Dolores Cannon or something. But for sure those two is where some of these perspectives come from. Now, the first thing that might kind of blow your mind when it comes to understanding your higher self is the way that it is explained in the book, The Law of One. The Law of One states that our higher self, every single one of us, has a higher self that is in what is called the 6th density. This is a little bit different than dimensions, but density has to do with a certain density of consciousness. Right now on the planet, we're moving from a 3rd density into 4th density. 4th density in general is more about still a physical experience, but it's also life becomes much more dreamlike. We start to realize our own power. We start to realize the power of the mind in a completely new way. We feel and understand our connection between all things. We start to understand that. By 6th density, that is a completely different level of consciousness that has more view of many different levels of existences. Now, it's explained like that in the Law of One, which is a channeled material from that of a physicist whose wife is channeling the information. Some of the most profound things in channeled material that we've ever found. And it's 5 books, and the questions that are asked are very deep. It's kind of a heavier read because the person asking the questions is a physicist. This isn't just some like, hey, what happens when we die? It's not just that. It's the different ways reality works, different things that have happened in the past. Some of the things in those different books as well, have been things that said, hey, it's written in the 80s, hey, in the future, this will be proven, this will be shown. And some of those things have come to be shown recently. So it's really cool to see that there was that much insight with it. However, what it was explained in that book is that every single one of us has a 6th density counterpart, which we call our higher self. We can call our higher self. That's what it was called in the book as well. So think of your higher self as the way that Bashar explains it as well. It goes very well with what Bashar explains is that right now we are in spirit dreaming and projecting our consciousness into this dreamlike reality that appears to be real. And we're dreaming that we are these limited avatars. So think of it and understand you are a high vibrational being that exists at many different levels of consciousness at the same time. However, when you come here, you forget who you are. Let's say this is you right here, or me, or anyone. Now, we go through this experience, and this is, let's say, our avatar in this life. This is our ego, our avatar. It's what we experience. We experience life here when we're awake and in the way that we do through our 5 senses, and we think this is who we are. Now, at the same time, we all, every single one of us, has a 6th density connection, a 6th density counterpart, which is also us, which is considered our higher self. Now, the higher self is a 6th density being that is able to perceive of many different existences of our same oversoul. You could say that in a way, oversoul, which actually might even be higher than that of the higher self. But imagine you have this existence here, which is now. And imagine you have an existence in the 1920s. And then you have an existence in the 1400s. Then you have existence on a different planet. You're a multi-dimensional being having a temporary human experience. And the cool thing about that is, in our ego, it's hard to understand that. We're alien. anything that's not of this planet, this one reality sphere, we would call alien or extraterrestrial. We are extraterrestrial to those other planets. However, in many ways, your soul is so vast that you would not only incarnate on one planet forever. Because forever, think about that, you're an eternal spiritual being. You do have existences on different levels of consciousness that may be very foreign to this reality. However, your higher self, your sixth density being, which you are connected to, we all are, we all have one, is able to perceive of these different existences. So of you right here, or me, and if you go up, this is where we go up even further. The further up you go, let's say there's an oversoul that connects to this higher self, just like there's all these different incarnations that our higher self can perceive of. Understand as well, there's like this web where we're all connected. So if you go high enough up this chart, we'll see that we're all one consciousness. But we split off. What we did is we split off to have different experiences, and through this game of separation. But higher up you go, the more you realize we're all connected anyways. Even at these levels, you can realize, hey, we're all connected. Because you can pull, and that's why we call past life, future life. You can do regression like QHHT. It's because you are then seeing the bleed through of these different versions of you in these different realities. And maybe there's some life theme, some life thread that's pulling you through. So that was the first thing. The first thing is that it's a sixth density being, which may sound kind of weird or like it's some higher thing, but it does kind of break apart our identity for who we think we are. We're not just some, we've forgotten who we are, but we at a higher level know who we are. And we're connected to that right now. If we feel like we're not connected, it's because we're creating the experience that we're not connected to our own beliefs. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the thing that makes it kind of weird for some people is they will say, this was me in a past life. This was me in a past life. Now the thing is all of these things are different parallel incarnations. Those exist right now in the present moment as you exist, and the only reason you are connected to them is because there's some theme or there's some purpose in you doing that. There's some thread that's connecting you to them. But one of the crazy things about your higher self and understanding this connection is that as you change right now, you also change which past and future connections you make. People sometimes will go to Bashar and ask him a question. They'll say, how many parallel incarnations do I have right now? He's like, oh, right now you have 372. Now you have 476. Now you have 232. He'll say it like that so that people know it's always changing based on how we change. The only thing that really exists is this moment right now. Now the thing is that makes it more slippery, because then people are like, well, no, I want to know that one past life that I had in this time period, and then the one future life that I had, and the relevance of that. But the thing is those are constantly changing as you change in the present moment. The cool thing about that is you're always changing. You could change your story. There's a little story about that as well. Even myself, I remember when I was first getting on YouTube, I went to like some clairvoyant person, and I was talking to her about, before I was even on YouTube, I knew kind of I wanted to make videos and stuff. I was kind of afraid to start putting myself out there. This is back in, I don't know, 2014, 2015. And I talked to this lady. She was very nice. She was a clairvoyant person. I got a reading from her. And she said that in one of my past lives, I was some type of, it's been a while, but it was like some type of Greek soldier, a Greek warrior, or something like that. And I was some type of, I don't know, I somehow got put into a lion's den for speaking up. And some lion, the way I died is some lion like bit me and killed me. That was the past life connection. And the purpose of that realization at that moment was that I was trying to push forward with my own dreams of going on YouTube and pushing into the unknown and speaking my truth. And there were times in the past when I got a lot of pain for speaking my truth. And maybe that was what was holding me back in the present moment. And there was another past life too. Can't remember, it was a Roman soldier. Maybe it was not a Greek soldier, it was a Roman soldier. And there was another past life too. I think it was an Egyptian past life. I forget exactly what it was. But somehow I was, it was lives that all related to, it was something else where I was sharing like ideas, and I was an intellectual person, like I don't know, like a scientist or somebody that is a thought person, like a thought leader or something like that, and I got in trouble and I got killed or something like that. Now, the purpose of me knowing those lives, which do not exist, that wasn't necessarily me in a past life, it was a connection my higher self had to another part of my same soul. And when I say me, is I mean the ego Aaron, the one that you see right now, that's the avatar making this video. It helps us understand those, you know, the thread, the life theme that might be going through with those. But what I didn't realize is that maybe in past lives, I was punished for spreading my ideas, but in this life, there's more freedom. I can share these ideas and more so fulfill my mission. So the thing is though, is maybe those lives were only relevant because of where I was at the time. Same thing happened to my mom. My mom went to a different, you know, this is like years and years ago, but she went to someone that we knew that was like clairvoyant, and he said, you know, she was at the time breaking up and going through a breakup with a divorce with her husband, and who was, you know, not my dad, it was some other guy. He was really nice, but she was going through that with him, and he kind of like got up and left, and he kind of like fled the house and left my mom there. And the clairvoyant said, oh, in past lives in a village, he also left you. So there we go again, a similar theme of the theme she's experiencing of a past parallel incarnation. Did it really happen? I don't know. But it may be just as she changes right now, she also changes what past and what future she connects to. You see, so this gets much more slippery, but it means that we're really recreating ourselves every moment. We're really recreating ourselves every moment. Hey, we're really creating ourselves every moment. Just like that, over again, over again, over again. What past life are you connecting to now? What past life connecting to now? What past life are you connecting to now? You're an infinite spiritual being. You're an infinite spiritual being. You're an infinite spiritual being. And when you become aware of this, you can then see that this is much more slippery. But understanding this from your higher self, and here's the analogy as well I want to give you. Your higher self, and this will kind of go into the third thing as well, your higher self's on the top of a mountaintop, and all these other aspects of you are in the valley. Now you might be, this is from Bashar, you might be hiking around, and there might be this big tree, and then maybe there's this river, and your higher self is telling you, hey, go a little bit more down here. I know it seems a little bit further away. Can't really see that. I know it seems a little bit further away, but there's a shortcut that'll get you through to the top of the mountain a little bit easier, to coming up to meet the higher self. Or, you know, I know that I drew that a little differently, but that's the idea. Your higher self can seem further. So sometimes when the ego is trying to control everything and the ego insists that it knows the best path, it doesn't have the full picture that your higher self has. So your higher self guides you, this is from Bashar, guides you via a vibration called excitement. And if you follow that excitement, you will raise your vibration the most, and you'll find that then things happen in very powerful synchronicity. So it's a feeling that your higher self gives you when you're following your passion, doing what you're actually passionate about. Now, the third thing about your higher self that will probably freak you out is that your higher self is watching you while you shower. I'm just kidding. Your higher self, though, can only guide you when you are open to the guidance. If you insist that you know the best direction going up this mountain, even though you don't have the full picture, if you insist and you aren't open to the guidance of your higher self, then your higher self can't actually help you. However, if you're open to your higher self will help you. Not only that, the more you open yourself up to your higher self, the more it can help you. So if you meditate and you ask for guidance, your higher self can give you signs. And here's another weird thing maybe about your higher self. Sometimes you might have a spiritual guide. And your spiritual guides that you think are someone that a soul you maybe knew in a past life, at higher levels, may also be your higher self or another version of you. Another version of you. And you think it's your higher self, but it's actually you. So it's something a little bit different that kind of might boggle the mind a little bit. However, if the more you insist that you know the best route, the more that your higher self can't actually help you. Here's the thing though, your higher self will never control you. You have free will. You incarnated here because you're a powerful spiritual being, And your higher self wanted you to have the vast experiences that you can have here. However, I've seen people before that have maybe a gift of clairaudience where they can go in and like listen to their inner guidance. Sometimes they'll go in and do that, and they'll almost give it too much power. Because then what they do is they're listening, they think they have to be told what to do for everything, rather than just going and doing what's passionate in the moment. They're like, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? And they overcompensate. You are a powerful spiritual being, and your higher self can guide you, but it's not going to do the work for you, and it's not going to tell you what to do at every moment. And if it's telling you what to do at every moment, then that's not, your higher self's a 6th density, unconditionally loving being. It's not going to try to control you or make you do negative things. So the power of everything I've shared with you right now is knowing that you are so much more vast than you could possibly imagine. I do have a higher self meditation. I recently met somebody at Rhythmia. Maybe you heard me tell a story. Her name was Nikki. She was hella cool. Really cool. And what she told me one time when I met her there, because she came based on my recommendation, when I met her, she goes, Aaron, I want you to know that I did your higher self meditation. I met my higher self, and she was so cool. It was so amazing. I was like, wow, that's so cool. And since I heard that story, I promote that meditation quite a bit. It's a free meditation on YouTube. Listen to it for 21 days and see what kind of experience you have meeting your higher self. It'll be in the top of the description marks below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace, much love, and namaste.